Would somebody like to tell Taz a little bit about DreamArts quickly?
So DreamArts is a charity that they have lots of different like sections in it. So there's Experiment, which is like more drama based and like creativity based. Like they've like made their own shows and stuff and like performed them to a crowd. Then there's Express, which is like more of a help service, I would say, and like support service. So, like I'm part of Carers Express, which is for young carers. And like we basically just get support for like our caring roles, and like we go on like residentials together and just get time to relax and like be people who know what we're going through.
Great. So should we start with the questions then? Who wants to go first?
So my first question is, what made you start your YouTube and what gave you the confidence to start as well?
YouTube, when I first started, wasn't how it was today. So, when you started YouTube, it wasn't, I'm going to start a YouTube channel and become a YouTuber. You just put out videos almost like, when you have like hobbies and like you make home videos and things like that. It was kind of like that, but I just put it online. So like growing up, I would watch other YouTubers, and I mostly watch YouTube and I loved YouTubers. And if you look at my first video, it literally looks like I'm just copying another YouTuber. I'm doing the whole voice and everything. So to me, I just did it because, I saw other people do it and it looked really cool. And I was like, why not? At the time, I was still like studying and things like that. Like I didn't intend it to be like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. That was like later on. And how did I get the confidence? I don't know. I still don't think I'm the most confident person. I still get really nervous every time I put out a video. I think for me, it wasn't that I had a lot of confidence. I was really passionate about it and it made me really happy. So I wouldn't say I'm the most confident person in the world. I wouldn't say I'm the most talented and skilled or the best editor and things like that. But I do really love what I do and I'm really passionate about it and I care about it a lot. And I think that enthusiasm is what keeps me going. For me, when I'm my most happy, I'm my most confident. So that's how I would answer that.
Thank you. So my second question is, how do you deal with hate from like other people?
Oh, that is a good question. I'll be completely honest with you. Let's not jinx this. I really don't want to jinx this right now. But I'm very fortunate that I haven't really dealt with a lot of hate. I know when we think of social media, there tends to be that narrative that it can be quite toxic and it can be really bad for insecurities and hate online, which is definitely true and it does happen. But I've been very fortunate where my online community and my online space, they've actually helped with my confidence and they've actually been really loving, kind and supportive and have literally watched me grow and become the person I am today. And they've always encouraged that. Like I always say that I am the person I am today because of them. I am able to do all the cool things I get to do and they really do support me. And if anything, I've had the opposite effect where they've helped me and they've made me more confident and they've made me love myself more because, they watch my videos. Like the fact that people even watch me and listen to me and like they care enough is so wild to me. And the fact that I found a group of people who like understand me and want to get to know me is so lovely. And maybe, I don't know, but I do feel like one of the things I always say to myself is you are what you put out into the world or you get what you put out into the world. Like I try to be positive online and I try to put out a good message. I try to be positive and I think that's probably why I get that same kind of love back. If there are anyone who feels scared to put themselves out there because there might be a chance of getting hate, but I would say it can be a scary place, but it can also be a very loving and kind and supporting place, and you can grow and so much from it.
My question is, what got you into like poetry and
Basically, I was going through a tough time in my life and my friend actually introduced me to spoken word poetry. Like she just showed me a bunch of poetry, spoken word poetry videos on YouTube. And up until that point, I had no interest in poetry. I was like, talking about your feelings, that sounds a bit lame. I just didn't have any interest in it whatsoever. But when I watched those videos, it was like watching like a performance. It was like watching like a rapper or an actor. It just felt really powerful and I really connected with it. And then that night, I just started writing. I wish I had some like, I don't know, something interesting to say, like, oh, I read a lot of poetry, or like I was really into this technique and stuff. It just came from within me. I just started writing, and I waited a couple of months till I posted online. People liked it, and I just kept doing it. So yeah, it just felt very natural. I just did it. I say it's more like, you know, when you write a diary and you just write about your feelings. That's how I would describe me writing poetry.
What's something you would say to your younger self?
I would say to my younger self, I think when I was young, when I was like, say, 14, I cared so much about being what I thought other people wanted me to be. So I tried so much to be kind of like a good, perfect example and get like the best grades to get into uni and things like that. But I don't know if the decisions I made was what I really wanted. And I didn't even know what I wanted as a kid because I never really asked myself that. Like if you ask 14-year-olds, who are you? What are you into? What are your interests? I wouldn't have a clue because I had no idea who I was. I would just tell you what I thought people wanted to hear. So going back, I would say to listen to myself more and ask myself, what is it that I want? What do I enjoy? If I don't know, why don't I try different things? It's funny. I feel like I've been more curious and more adventurous in my adult life than I was as a child. So I would say to figure out how to be myself. I would say, you know what, just do what you want to do and what makes you happy and whatever your gut instinct tells you to do. It doesn't matter if it's not what society expects from you, just try it and try and do what makes you happy.
How have you and like your brand, if that makes sense, like grown over the years?
I have no idea. So basically my main thing is I just like creating in whatever form that is. So whether that's like serious poetry or goofy challenge videos or doing a documentary, whatever form it comes in, I just like creating things and I create whatever I feel like in that moment. And that's like always changing because as humans, we're always changing and evolving. I just try to be as honest as possible and do what I'm excited about and I'm passionate about. And hopefully people connect with that.
How do you come up with your videos? Because I've noticed you have like a range of videos, but how do you come up with them?
I mean, right now in lockdown it's kind of hard because we're kind of limited with what we can do. So I think it's just whatever I'm curious about at that time. It could be a trend. It could be me wanting to try something new that I've never done before. Right now, there's a lot of home vlogs because we're all at home all the time. But hopefully once life gets a bit more normal, I'll get to do more like cool, interesting, adventurous things.
DreamArts, we really value reflection, empathy, and curiosity. So how do you think that you maybe use those skills?
Curiosity, I feel like this job you have to be very curious. Once in a creative field, once you're no longer curious, it's very hard to create. And even now with opportunities that come away, I'm like, okay, what could happen if I did try it though? The empathy one, I think it comes into poetry. Also being able to connect with audience, you need to have a lot of empathy. You know what, I'll be honest with you, I'm really bad at reflecting. I'm really, really bad at it. In fact, this documentary was the first time in a long time I actually reflected. With the way life is, it's very go, go, go. And there's so many cool opportunities and you're always on to the next thing, the next thing, next thing. And it's also very fast paced. I don't really pause and process and think about everything all the time. But I'm trying to do that a bit more.
If you was to tell someone nowadays how they could like develop their creative skills and well-being.
First of all, the most important thing is to just do it, but it's about wanting to work hard in figuring out your potential. You may not know your potential from day one, but through time, it'll just become easier and more natural. Can I ask, what did you think of the documentary? Like,
I felt it it was a really good like reflection of like someone taking their life back. You're being a YouTuber and then you're going back to like your roots and where it all started kind of made me reflect on life, and that maybe I should think about what I want to do rather than what like my parents want me to do and like what school want me to be.
I loved going back to school and speaking to the students. Like, students now have access to the whole world and they can see all the cool things they can get to do. I actually loved having the conversations with the students, and I don't know, it was a really cool experience for me. But that's really cool. I'm glad that it came across that way and that you took that from it. That's really cool.